Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Soumya Mittal. I'm a neurologist and today I'll continue speaking about Parkinsonism in COVID-19 era. In the previous video I talked about few of the symptoms, the motor symptoms like tremors and weakness and rigidity, and some other features like gastrointestinal symptoms, constipation, urinary symptoms. Talked about a few of the tips that one can use to manage these symptoms without medications. Today I'll continue with some other issues, the mental issues. These are quite common, but the people who have Parkinsonism tend not to share these with their doctors. Unfortunately, doctors cannot frequently pick up these symptoms due to lack of facial expressions in these people. Therefore, it is up to them and the caregivers and the families to talk about these issues, to discuss these issues with the doctors so that something can be done about it. Now, these issues include mood issues as well as cognitive problems. The mood issues include anxiety, depression, apathy, panic attacks, phobias. Cognitive problems may be mild to severe. They could be because of the age or Parkinsonism itself. It includes attention deficit, cognitive slowing, memory issues, and disorders of executive functions. Disorder of executive function are basically difficulty in planning an activity. Anxiety and depression occur frequently in approximately 50% of the patients. Apathy, which is characterized by the loss of motivation, lack of concern, diminished interest, and flat affect, is also very common. Compulsive behaviors and impulse control disorders are also common. They are, however, not frequently recognized. Most common of these disorders are pathological gambling, hypersexuality, and uncontrolled spending. Visual hallucination, illusions, delusions, behavioral disturbances can affect almost 5 to 10% of the patients. Anxiety, apathy, depression, fatigue, and sleep disorders can occur at any stage of the disease. However, cognitive decline, delirium, dementia, hallucinations, and psychosis are commonly seen later in the disease. Now, what causes these factors? What are the triggers for these problems? So, most of these patients are elderly. They are around the age of 60 or more. And some of them lose their jobs, others are retired. So they have a loss of income which comes along with the disease. Similarly, post-retirement, they have a feeling of loss of status. They feel that they have lost part of themselves. They are unable to communicate all these problems with the family because of a fear and embarrassment. They feel some anger and frustration towards life. They feel that the life has not been fair to them. There is an adjustment disorder to the chronic illness, and it further gives them a feeling of stigma, and social isolation is something that either they do it or the people do it to them. So all this causes a deterioration of relationship with the family, the society, and these triggers cause the mental problems. Coming to the tips, a few of the tips for the mood issues like anxiety and depression. It would be very essential for everyone that they keep themselves busy, do not have a sense of depression, do not have self-pity, be positive in life, have some positive emotions, try to be happy, try to stimulate some leisure activities. Yoga and exercise are good options. They not only help you spend time and be relieved of the mood issues, it also helps you in keeping your muscles active and your gait and other problems, motor issues, normal. Joining a support group would be good. If you have people around you who have similar problems, you can share your problems more comfortably. You do not feel the stigma of talking to the people about your problems. And likewise, they can share their outcomes, their ways in which they manage to take care of those symptoms that you are feeling now. So it is always good to have a support group. Adequate sleep is important. Lack of sleep is known to have caused anxiety and depression. If you do not have an adequate sleep, it itself becomes the cause for these problems. So make sure you have adequate sleep. Attention deficit is a problem in which a person is not able to perform an activity for more than a limited time before he switches to the next activity. So it is better that you take one activity at a time. Do not plan more than one activity and try to assign a very short amount of time for this activity. Shorter the sessions, the more of a chance that you will be able to complete the activity. Cognitive slowing is another problem. These patients, Parkinsonism patients, walk slowly. Similarly, there is a problem at some stage where they also think slowly. They cannot process the information as fast as they can or they used to. So it is better that the caregivers realize this and they speak slowly. They give them the information slowly so that they are able to process it simultaneously. And they should help the patient relax. They should make it comfortable for the patient so that in case they have not understood what has been conveyed, they can ask the people around them to repeat it slowly. Memory deficits may be a part of the disease due to the age or the disease itself. So managing a list of activities in a diary, making reminders in the mobiles will help them. Having cues which remind them to perform an activity is another option. So that is the way they can manage the memory deficits. As I said, executive disorder is a problem in managing and planning an activity that has multiple stages. So it is easier for the people to maintain a routine. If the things are in routine, they will be able to manage their activities better. Make sure that the parts of the activity are visible and try to break the activity into small parts so that you can do small parts and that way continue with doing the activity. But most important of all, a patient has to believe in himself or herself, and the family, the caregivers can play a very, very crucial role in this part. Hallucinations and compulsive disorders are other psychiatric disorders, other issues which can also be sometimes caused by the medicines that the people are taking. Therefore, it is very important that if there are hallucinations and compulsive disorders, you tell the doctor immediately so that something can be done about the medications that you are taking, the dose can be modified. Caregivers are very important. Patients and caregivers should respect each other. Providing assistance for a person with Parkinsonism sometimes evolves into overwhelming burden and creates serious levels of family dysfunction. The mental health and coping skills of the care partners has a major impact on their lives and the quality of life of the patient with Parkinsonism. It is well documented that the patient with Parkinsonism who are experiencing significant depression, anxiety, psychosis or are facing dementia are likely to cause an increased burden of care for caregivers. There are also many other symptoms that can insidiously affect the coping abilities of the care partner. Apathy is a major source of frustration, stress, and conflict between the patient and the caregivers. The lack of motivation, indifference, and diminished interest of a patient with Parkinsonism who also has significant apathy is frequently misinterpreted by the family and caregivers as willful laziness or depression. Patients with insomnia and frequent nocturnal awakening, whether due to frequent nocturia, sleep behavioral disorders, sleep fragmentation, nocturnal immobility, or the need for medication administration in the middle of the night, can severely disrupt sleep for the caregivers. A sleep-deprived care partner is unlikely to function well throughout the day. The fear of leaving the patient alone for a few hours or the patient's fear of being left alone can enslave the care partner for 24 hours per day, 7 days a week. The resulting social isolation severely impairs the quality of life of the caregiver, and they experience anger, denial, guilt, resentment, irritability, depression, anxiety, fatigue, and a sense of being overwhelmed. Patients may sense that they are being ignored and neglected because the caregivers are not able to take care of themselves as well as the patients. These are unpleasant feelings that care partners and patients may not want to divulge to each other. Therefore, it is very important that the caregiver and the patient have an opportunity to speak to the doctors allowing them to vent their emotions without fear of embarrassment or recrimination. Caregivers should be reminded that their health is at stake and they are entitled to have some free time to recharge their emotional batteries. Care partners should all be encouraged to participate in the support groups and educational programs, as they will benefit from the advice and experience of others who have had to cope with similar situations. Consultation with health professional is important for caregivers who are being overwhelmed or are feeling depressed. Family members or friends can always help pitch in, but in case they are not able to give a regular help, it is always better for the family members or the caregivers to hire some help. One may feel that no one can take care of your loved ones better than you, but hiring help only gives you a support. To sum it up, tips for alleviating care partners' burden include doing something for yourself every day. Do something nice, keep yourself motivated. Do not drop out of the mainstream of your life. Keep some of your activities regular. Enlist other members and of the family and hire aides if necessary. Participate in exercise programs. Participate in education seminars and support groups. Consult with mental health professionals if required. Have a home safety evaluation to make sure that your house is safe for the Parkinsonism patients, and make use of adult day care programs. So, if this summarizes the entire thing from the first video as well as this video, that exercises, dancing, tai chi, yoga, muscle relaxation, breathing exercises, aerobic exercises, and other activities will help the patient improve. Dancing is one of the most upcoming activities that has been shown to improve the mood of the patient and the motor activities as well. So that is an important activity that one can try. Now a few things to remember regarding COVID-19. In the era of COVID-19, a Parkinson's patient needs to remember that currently there is no evidence that the patient with Parkinsonism have a high risk of contracting COVID-19 or have worse outcomes because of Parkinsonism. However, they are elderly and it is known that COVID-19 may have serious effects in elderly compared to the younger population, and therefore they need to be careful. They need to restrict their movements outside their home without a mask at least. Lockdown may restrict access to healthcare, physical exercise, and may produce additional stress, which could potentially lead to worsening of motor and non-motor symptoms in this group. The long-term consequences of this pandemic on Parkinsonism is highly uncertain, and timely education and reassurance of patients may help ease the burden. During COVID-19 outbreak in your community, stay at home as far as possible and reduce all the non-essential travel. Regular exercise regime such as yoga and walking in the house is essential. It will help maintain your mood and also help maintain your motor activities. Adequate fluid intake and well-balanced healthy diet is also important. Adequate stock of medication is required, but remember it should be adequate. Do not panic, do not overdo it. Keep in touch with your family and your doctor. Wash your hands every 40 seconds with soap and water. Carry a hand sanitizer which has at least 60 to 70% alcohol and use that to clean your hands for at least 20 seconds. Sanitize around you as far as possible. Keep your things and your area clean. Know your symptoms. If you develop mild to severe respiratory illness with fever, cough, or shortness of breath, seek medical advice as soon as possible. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Stock up on essential supplies, but do not overdo it. Do not go into a panic mode. Practice social distancing as far as possible and stay at least 6 feet away from others. Limit your outings and wear a face mask when you're going out. Remember that in COVID-19, it is important that we learn about the disease, we learn how to live with it and move ahead and grow further. Not learning from of this disease about this disease and how to protect ourselves from disease will only make us afraid and restrict our abilities to move further in life. Thank you.